I've walked the Calcadoon, raw culture shared a moon. But out here kids die far too soon. And it's impossible not to notice the contrast between white and black, and out here we struggle to look back out over our shoulder where the wisdom is 1,000 years older, and the desert nights are clear and colder than the hearts of the miners that gouged and sold her. You see, in Calcadoon, there are good kids doing things to escape this thing called living. Terrible things, heartbreaking things, things that have got nothing to do with sin. I'm talking about kids who've been left to feed themselves from a bin, kids who are told by the world they can never win, kids who are written off before they can begin. I'm talking about kids who hold a spray can in their hand, thinking, fuck you, you'll never understand. Then inhale a chrome halo and drop into a seizure that's got nothing to do with Jesus. You see, in Calcadoon, the dictionary of the streets is defined by where we sleep, how we keep, and what ain't worn on our feet. And we know there are some privileged white views denouncing the strife for them whinging black views, and so rarely does truth make it to the news. And yes, there's disagreement in how we do what we do. But this report is from desert eyes, stripped mind, and far too dry to cry. So I'll lay it down to you. Daughter, brother, father, son, mother, torn from the lives of the people who need life most, called sinners by the church and liars by the law, and all the while we tally the score. And we don't advance fair in this part of Australia. You see, Mount Isa has one of the highest rates of youth suicide in Queensland. One year we cut 14 kids out of the trees, and what a tragic way to know the beauty of a tree. And of course, the system's solution would be to cut down every tree, because they're all about helping, believe you me. But then again, me girls be out there pregnant before 16, and me boys be out there sniffing under that tree, under that same tree that took after his family. They got no voice, trapped on an island, isolated on all sides by dry creeks, extreme heats and distance. And it's a different world anyway, a world you've got to live to understand. So while we're going to school is bad, and the reasons behind that are sad, and it builds up inside you and it makes you mad. But you know what? I'm glad for Brandon and Jamie and Jesse and Naomi. And for the little one who blew off his thumb, sniffing petrol, evaporating the fumes over a candle. Yeah, I remember your blood too was red. But still, we don't want to listen. So maybe instead of falling on deaf ears, you could come down here and tell us for yourself how this system, these promises, it's all bullshit. This ain't some postcard desert where you can draw with a stick in the sand. Isa is rock with lead in the land where you can't drink the water because you get a brain disorder. And where the air fills with sulfur and it hurts to breathe, not when you get older, but all of the time as you grow up next to a lead mine, where it's 40 degrees for 11 days straight. You can't leave the home where you get raped unless it's to go to school with no food and no shoes, or go down to the squat and sniff glue until your heart stills and all the fear and the pain and the anger is killed. Yeah, so I hear arguments about giving the land back and equal employment opportunities that they lack, but we don't even know who they are. Do we mean them drunks, them dole bludgers, them blacks? Or do we mean our forgotten families who never stood a chance? So I ask everyone in this room, how would you behave if you'd faced the shit that these kids have been through? What would you do? Go quick, go slow. Or your eyes hold back the tears, for there are other souls worth crying for. And in no less than a perfect moment we waited again, but we forgot who you were the first time you died, and the second time you passed without prayer. Tired of the weight they faced and the stones that fell upon them, they started. They didn't want to stop. When you start, you don't stop. And they'd say, sometimes it's hard to stop. Sometimes it's harder to find a reason to. And they said it with such conviction that it'd make you want to cry. And almost in that moment, you want to believe them. We're all right, man. We're okay. But we didn't know. Go quick, go slow. At first, it was only every now and then. Forever now, always now, never enough. We noticed as your heart darkened. We watched as you became rags, boy-like and fragile, afraid to make waves in arguments that swallowed in the money that you borrowed. We never expected back, but we didn't know. Go quick, go slow. then found in the toilets, blue-lipped and pale, still wearing that bracelet from her mother's passing. She'd never sell it, almost. Or maybe that was just a nice thought, something from a time before. But Mother would say, sell that bracelet, don't sell my baby. Go quick, go slow. The blood was black, leaving this body. The only tear this body knows as it runs the angle of your arm and drops from your elbow and hits the dirty green linoleum in a stunning crimson burst. Just another stain in the morning, and no one's mourning here. The chlorine scent of cum, like a bird shit on his belly, pearlescent beads of biological doom. He'll address that soon. But it's an easy means to an end, and we know, my friends, what ends will go. Chasing, go quick, go slow. Smile. Hadn't seen it in a very long while. Forgot who you really were and knew you only when you were on. So we hold back the tears, for there are other souls worth crying for. And in no less than a perfect moment, we will meet again. But we forgot who you were the first time you died. And the second time you passed without prayer. And now nobody's laughing, for it stopped being fun so long ago, long before you learnt to go quick, go slow. Now, Jessie waits in the pharmacy line. Jessie's feeling anything but fine. The pharmacist scowls at the sweat on Jessie's brow, but cash is cash, and Jessie wants to get smashed. You see, addiction is commonplace in the worn-out buildings beyond the strip mall. Pharmaceutical regulations and a massacre of hypocrisy as she seeks to go quick, go slow. And Marcy grew like a weed in the shade, stretching and twisting to make her way with legs like vines and leafy veins. She was never going back again. Her soul would soar above the wreckage below, and when she lost her heart, we'll never know. But somewhere and somewhen, and burned by her friends, she learnt to go quick, go slow. And Timmy was Timothy in the courtroom that day. He was done on possession, essentially, but technically his dope was overweight. So for our friend Timmy, the consequences were great. With no harm done, his use, his choice, the magistrate did raise his voice and decree a punishment would be set that would set Timmy on the path of regret. 18 months now stretch ahead. I punish you, son, so you won't end up dead. Because surely in prison, no one knows how to go quick, go slow. So spare some empathy for the battle-fallen silent sufferers, the invisible casualties in this war on drugs, the you, the me, the anyone. It might be illegal, but it's not criminal. And I hope we wake up to see that addiction happens to people like you and me, and it's the laws that generate criminality, destroying any hope of civility. Society says we're scum, and so becomes our mantra, but we don't know. At some point we go from baby to child to teen, then adult, grow, and some of the finest people I would ever know barely stand up. But they stand up for what's right and what's true, and yes, they consume, but they don't promote doom. Still, they are a relevant cast as social resentment grows for those who choose to go quick, go slow.